To Dwell Youth Ministry Live. This is a live program of the Dwell Youth Ministry, which is, the Dwell Youth Ministry is a program of First Congregational United Church of Christ in Colorado Springs, Colorado. My name is Josh, and I am so excited to be with you. This is a youth ministry in a church where everyone belongs. You are welcome here, no matter what you've done, no matter who you are, no matter who you love, no matter what you believe, you are welcome here. What a day, huh? What a day. Crazy day. It's a new day for many of us. We've been looking forward to a day like today for a while. But before we talk about what we're going to talk about tonight, I want to just give a couple of announcements before we get started. And so this is a youth ministry. We are living amidst a pandemic, and so we are taking it as safe as possible, which is why we're here online tonight, which is why we've been stuck doing online things for a while. But I do want to start doing some things in person if we can, meaning like outdoor hikes and such, because safety is still number one priority. But I really want to connect with each and every one of you. So look forward to some emails coming from me, some announcements here on Instagram or on other places. And yeah, we're going to do some fun things. I have some fun plans for us, tentative plans. But we will be staying virtual because this is what our life is for the next few months. There is an end kind of in sight. I see it coming, although it's I want it to happen sooner, but we're going to be safe. Okay, so let's talk about what we're doing tonight. First of all, today was a big day. The inauguration of the 46th President of the United States of America, Joe Biden. With his presidency, we also get the first woman, the first Black and first Asian American vice president. Those are huge things. That's a really big deal. It's truly a historic day. For so many of us, the past 4 years have been exhausting, terrifying, unsettling. We have witnessed racism, sexism, ableism, and bigotry of all sorts coming from a president, from other leaders, and from people in our own lives. For many of you, some of your most formative years thus far have lived under a cruel and unjust presidency. Today feels like a relief, like the first deep breath after holding your breath for a long time. Today is a day of celebration for many of us, including myself, and deservedly so. We have spent years now protesting the injustices that were often overwhelming, and the hard work of our advocacy has paid off. It's good to celebrate, and we're allowed to be happy about this inauguration. But the work is not done. Our goal should never to be simply elect someone new, as if our hope rested in a political leader. It doesn't. Honestly, placing any hope in a political leader it's flawed thinking. Even though having quality individuals in positions of power is a good thing. As people who seek to to follow the life and the teachings of Jesus. We should operate by a different ethic. And this is what I want to talk about tonight. What is the ethic by which we should be informed? That should guide our efforts towards good, true, and beautiful justice, and towards meaningful change in our world. So let's take a closer look at the life of Jesus to help us understand, to possibly see what we can learn from his life and where we can go from here. Jesus was born among the Jewish people, which was a people that were oppressed and conquered by a cruel and unjust authoritarian Roman Empire. The Romans were cruel. They sought to impose their ideals on the world. So they conquered those who were outside of their empire, and they forced their way of life on them. And they tried to do this with the Jewish people. Even among the Jewish people, Jesus was despised. Jesus was from an area called Nazareth that wasn't favored even among the Jewish community. One of the Gospels even uses this phrase: does anything good come from Nazareth? Pretty harsh, isn't it? Jesus was a poor person among a poor people, existing on the margins of a cruel and unjust society. Jesus was not one of the wealthy or powerful, not even close. He was a poor man who associated with the most lowly and the most marginalized. This would have informed his teachings, as we see in the book of Matthew. I'm going to read it to you. I need to go get my Bible, but I'm going to read it to you, so I'll give you the passage, so in case you want to follow along. It's Matthew chapter 25, verses 31 through 45. So Matthew 25, verses 31 through 45. I'm going to go get my Bible. Maybe you can go get yours. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Probably could have been faster. I didn't run though because I didn't feel like running. So Matthew chapter 25, verses 31 through 45. I'm going to read from the NIV today. If you have a different translation, that's totally fine. All right, 31 through 45. You ready? When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his throne in heavenly glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." And the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The king will reply, "I tell you the truth. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me." Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. They will also answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you? He will reply, I tell you the truth. Whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. This is one of my favorite sections of Scripture. It really informs everything that I believe. It informs not just my faith, but my politics, my social work, really everything that I do. Jesus here is directly equivocating himself with the hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, the naked, the sick, and the imprisoned. He is saying that wherever you see those who suffer and those who have been marginalized, those who have been oppressed, you see him. Jesus is very intentionally and acutely pointing us in a very specific direction to look at the most vulnerable instead of the most powerful. Our work as Christians should be to ally with and support the marginalized and oppressed. Which is why I think days like today, they can come with themselves a bit of an issue. Because we start to look at political leaders as our saviors, as if the work was done with the coming of a new president. It's tempting for us humans to be attracted by power, to seek it for ourselves. But let me tell you, the church has been at its worst historically when it has allied with political power. The Crusades, the Inquisition, the Holocaust, slavery, Manifest Destiny, the attempted genocide of indigenous folks, those were all either implicitly or explicitly supported by the church. Not every church, of course. Because at the same time, the church has been at its best when it has allied with and supported the most marginalized and the most oppressed. When we seek power, our gaze turns away from the least of these. And I think that's an issue. When our efforts are to seek power, we ignore the most vulnerable and run over them in our greed. That is not the way of Jesus. Our politics and our faith should be informed by how we treat the oppressed. This is why we should stand so firmly against all forms of bigotry and oppression. Racism, sexism, ableism, xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, and all other forms of hatred. When anyone is oppressed, it is our role as followers of Jesus to stand with them. We cannot be lulled into complacency because of some political victory. That ain't it. The work towards social justice continues. And until everyone is treated with dignity and respect, regardless of any perceived differences, then our work is not done. You should also note that when you are in a position of privilege, that we must be careful to not see ourselves as the heroes of the story. Our role is as allies. We are not the saviors. We are not the ones who are going to come in and lead necessarily. Our job is to support, to ally with, and to hand over the microphone to somebody else, particularly those who are marginalized. So today is a day that we can certainly celebrate. If that's your political feeling, that's okay. We're allowed to be happy. Happiness is a good thing. Today was a good day for many of us. But tomorrow, we work. There's so much more to do. And I believe we can do it. I believe in you. I believe in us. You are so loved, and this world can be a better place because of you. All right, y'all. Grace and peace. Love you.